has the dream of African unity been put to a test once again? Imagine spending years building a successful business in another African country, only to flee for your life, doing xenophobic violence. You leave behind your home, your investment, your livelihood, and everything you have worked for. Then, after escaping the violence, you hear a senior government official say your losses will not be compensated. And West suggests that Nigerians are operating drug dens. This is no longer a story about compensation. It is about diplomacy, accountability, human rights, and the future of Africa's solidarity. Today, we examine the escalating diplomatic dispute between Nigeria and South Africa, the controversial statement made by South African Minister of the Presidency, and the possibility of regional legal action, and whether the African Union should step in. Welcome to When the Dust Settles. Nigeria and South Africa on another diplomatic collision course. Relations between Africa's two largest economies have once again become strained following recent xenophobic attacks that forced many Nigerians to flee South Africa. According to Nigerian officials, many citizens abandoned homes, businesses, vehicles, and other valuable properties while escaping violence. Nigeria acting High Commissioner to South Africa, Tommy Tupi Ajay, announced that the Nigerian government intends to document the businesses and assets left behind by Nigerians who are fleeing the violence. The documentation could form part of future legal and diplomatic effort to seek compensation for affected Nigerians. The Nigerian government also accused South African authorities of failing to adequately protect foreign nationals and has warned that it will pursue regional and international legal action if justice is not served. South Africa said there will be no compensation. South Africa has firmly rejected Nigerian proposal. Speaking during the government press briefing, what's the name? Hobo Zulu Shuhemini made it clear that the South African government could not compensate Nigerians who fled the violence. She explained that legally owned property remains protected under South African law, and according to her, anyone who legally owns movable or immovable property in Nigeria, in South Africa, is free to sell that property to the country's legal property market. She further argued that buildings located in informal settlements are illegal structure and therefore cannot qualify for compensation. However, it was another statement that generated widespread controversy across Africa. Referring to abandoned Nigerian property, she said, "We will be interested to know where the drug dens of Nigerians are, so they can show us where they are being or holding drugs, so that we can claim those drugs in South Africa quite urgently." Now, those remarks quietly spread across social media and draw criticism from many Nigerians who argue that the comments unfairly portray an entire nationality as criminals. Shehu Sani is a former Nigerian senator was among the first politician or political figure to respond. He said, "This is from the senior government official, not a thought on the from the street." His comment reflected concerns about of many Nigerians who believe such statements could inflame tensions instead of promoting a peaceful coexistence. Nigeria said it would explore legal options against South Africa. Nigeria has made it clear that compensation is only one part of the issue. Nigerian officials said the larger concern is ensuring that justice for Nigerians who become victims of repeated xenophobic attacks. The Nigerian government has warned that if satisfactory action is not taken, it is prepared to pursue both regional and international remedies. That raises an important question, okay? If Nigeria wants to pursue a legal action, where exactly you think Nigeria is going to take this matter? First, and perhaps most realistically, the most realistic destination could be the African Union. Nigeria could formally request that the African Union the matter be placed before the African Union Executive Council, or even before the Assembly of Heads of State and Government. Although the African Union is primarily a political body rather than a court, it has significant diplomatic influence. The AU will encourage dialogue between Nigeria and South Africa. The AU could appoint mediators. The AU could issue resolution condemning xenophobic violence. The AU could call upon member states to protect all African citizens living within their borders. The AU could encourage both governments to reach a diplomatic settlement. Because Nigeria and South Africa are amongst the continent's most influential countries, many analysts believe the African Union could be the most appropriate forum for initial engagement. If South Africa wants to pursue legal action, another thing Nigeria could, if Nigeria wants to pursue legal action, another option could be they could also submit the complaint to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which is headquartered in Banjul, the Gambia. The commission monitors compliance with African Charter on Human and People's Rights. If Nigeria believes South Africa failed to protect the rights of Nigerian nationals under the Charter, the Commission could investigate the allegations and make recommendations. So these are the options that Nigeria has if she wants to pursue legal action. Although the Commission does not function as a court, as a criminal court, its findings carry considerable legal and diplomatic significance across Africa. Another option that Nigeria has, and which of course I want Nigeria to take this matter use this option, is the African Court on Human and People's Rights. So depending on the legal circumstances, the matter could also reach the African Court of Human and People's Rights in Arusha, Tanzania. The court has the authority to issue legally binding judgments on human rights matters that falls within its jurisdiction. So cases often arrive at this commission through the African Commission or through eligible state referral, subject to the court's jurisdictional rules. South Africa is a leading member of the Southern African Development Community, commonly known as SADC. Nigeria is not a member of SADC. That means that SADC could not normally serve as Nigeria's primary legal forum. However, Nigeria could still engage SADC diplomatically through the African Union or through direct bilateral discussion with South Africa and regional leaders. So those are the options that Nigeria has if or she wants to pursue legal action, legal remedy with the situation between she and South Africa. Nigeria also has international options. If regional diplomacy prove unsuccessful, Nigeria could explore international mechanisms. This includes raising concerns before the United Nations Human Rights Council and relevant UN human rights body. In theory, disputes between states can also be brought before the International Court of Justice. However, that path is considerably more complicated because the court must first establish it has jurisdiction, often requiring consent from the states involved or another recognized legal basis. So, as a result, most experts believe diplomatic engagement through African institutions could likely come before any attempt to pursue international litigation. Folks, you know the situation happening in South Africa is very troubling. The irony among many Africans are pointing out, right? Many observers have highlighted what we see as a striking contradiction. South Africa received widespread international recognition after bringing a case against Israel before the International Court of Justice concerning humanitarian situation in Gaza. That legal action positions South Africa as a leading advocate for international law and the protection of civilians. Think about that for a little bit. Now, critics are asking difficult questions. If South Africa is willing to defend human rights on the international stage, should it also demonstrate that same commitment toward fellow Africans living within its own borders? You plead for people in Gaza, but then your people in Africans in your country have been mistreated by your people or some of your people, not all South African. Supporters of South African government argue that these are fundamentally different legal situations and should not be directly compared. Others argue that the government has a responsibility to protect every person legally residing within the country, regardless of their nationality. South Africa has the responsibility to protect everybody. Whether they are illegal citizens, you can prosecute them for being illegal citizens, but you cannot just mistreat them. Where is the African Union? This situation also raises another important question. Has the African Union responded? If the AU has already initiated diplomatic engagement or issued a statement, those efforts deserve recognition. If the AU has not, many analysts could argue that this is precisely the kind of dispute the organization was created to address. The African Union exists to promote peace, unity, cooperation, human rights, and solidarity among African nations. When tension arises between two of Africa's most influential countries, many believe the AU has both the responsibility and the opportunity to facilitate dialogue before relations deteriorate further. Ultimately, the credibility of African institutions depends not only on responding to conflicts beyond the continent, but also on addressing disputes among African nations themselves. Nigeria and South Africa are more than just two countries. They are economic powerhouses. They are diplomatic heavyweights. Together, they play a central role in advancing continental initiatives, such as the African Continental Free Trade Area. Repeated xenophobic attacks threaten not only bilateral relationships, but also the broader vision of African integration and vision under Agenda 2063. Governments have every right to enforce immigration laws and combat organized crime. However, many analysts caution that these objectives should never result in the stigmatization of an entire community. The challenge is balancing public safety with the protection of human rights and ensuring that innocent people are not targeted because of their nationality or nationality. Folks, this dispute is about much more than compensation. It is about whether African governments can protect fellow citizens Africans. It is about accountability. It is about diplomacy. And it is about whether the institutions created to unite the continent are prepared to act when unity is tested. Will Nigeria formally approach the African Union? Will South Africa reconsider its position? Will African institutions help prevent another diplomatic crisis between two of the continent's most influential nations? Only time will tell. Folks, what are your thoughts? Should South Africa compensate Nigerians who lost property while fleeing xenophobic violence? Should Nigeria pursue legal actions through the African Union or the African Court? And what role should the African Union play in resolving disputes between member states? Share your views in the comments below. Folks, if you enjoyed this analysis, please like this video, subscribe to When the Dust Settles, and turn on notifications so you never miss our coverage on African politics, international affairs, and global developments. Thank you for watching, and remember, when the dust settles, the truth remains. Folks, once again, my name is Pico Kawe. Bye for now.